Hi, Eric Lanask here. We're in San Jose, California at our 5th WebRTC Conference and Expo. On the program with me today is John Riordan. John is from OnSip. John, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So as I said, this is our 5th Conference and Expo. Let's start. What have you seen change within the WebRTC community in, say, the last couple of years?
Well, it's been growing and accelerating from the standpoint of more and more people getting involved. The sort of ongoing development has certainly spurred on more and more interest, and so that's been the major area I've seen change in it. Getting handle on the things actually working too, as well, has been a big change. The stability and reliability of products you can actually build on top of WebRTC now has come a long way from where it was a few years ago.
Well, certainly, no question. That's always the big thing, getting adoption is making sure they work. What kind of opportunities has sort of the understanding, the recognition, the acknowledgement of WebRTC, what kind of opportunities does that open up for OnSip?
Well, we've been spending a good deal of time building effectively products for our end customer base, or existing customer base, and attracting new customers. But mostly phones, so we're putting phones in browsers as opposed to people using hard phones. We recently released a product called InstaPhone for Salesforce, which is a Salesforce add-in that allows Salesforce users to receive phone calls in Salesforce without plugins or without an additional phone. And we've integrated it with a product we're calling InstaCall, which allows companies to put buttons on their web pages, and then when the calls come into their sales groups, context is brought along with that. And so that's an example of using WebRTC that we've been focused on recently.
Does that require a sort of a change in approach or change in mentality on the user side, being able just to to do it all through your browser? You don't pick up a phone, whether it's your mobile or a desk phone. You just click and off you go.
Yeah, sure, it definitely does. I mean, historically have dealt with people who are very comfortable with phones. They've have hard phones. They've been using hard phones for a long period of time. So getting them to switch from something they're comfortable is not something they're jumping to do necessarily. However, the opportunity to bring context data along with the calls that they weren't able to get otherwise, going beyond just caller ID, using caller ID number as the basis for determining who you're talking to, is bringing value to them that they haven't been able to have otherwise. Likewise, we found people who are mobile tend to like the solution there. Effectively can bring their office phone anywhere, as opposed to alternatively a soft phone or something like that.
So standardization, interoperability, those kinds of things. Obviously, the technology has to work, but it almost sounds like in order to see sort of mass uptake, mass adoption, that use case and the understanding of the business process efficiencies has to take place.
Sure. I mean, at the end of the day, we're targeting business customers or business-to-business operation, and the value has to be there. There has to be an economic driver for them to want to do this. They have to be able to either save substantial money or provide opportunity to make money in ways that they weren't able to otherwise. The big drivers we've seen recently that with WebRTC that seem to garner interest are both video, being able to take video calls. People are looking at that and trying to figure out how they can make use of that. And then secondarily, it's largely all about context, being able to embed these things in ways that make more sense for the context the end users are in.
What else is OnSip doing to help drive the uptake and interest in WebRTC?
We've been sponsors of an open source project called SIP.js. It was released about a year ago. It's a JavaScript SIP stack. It's completely open source, and we're encouraging people to use it and build their WebRTC applications on top of it. It interoperates not only with our platform, but also with major open source platforms, including FreeSwitch and Asterisk and Camelio and Node.js and things like this.
So who's your target there?
Developers. This is an interesting show for us. We've got the HTML5 developer conference right next door, and we're actually running back and forth between the two of them. It's nice to bring the two groups together. We think getting the developers interested and understanding it, and also bringing it so close to the WebRT conference is a nice mix for us.
Is there a natural synergy between, thanks for the plug for the HTML5 show, between attendees there and folks coming to, the developers coming to WebRTC?
Yeah, I think so. I'm curious to see how it changes this year. I mean, we've been coming regularly, so I've noticed the lack of developers historically, I thought, to the WebRTC show, where at the end of the day, developers are be doing a lot of the work with regard to integrating WebRTC into browser applications and mobile applications and things like this. So, but the people who know WebRTC inside and out are here at the WebRTC show, so it's kind of a mix that needs to happen, and it's perhaps not something that's happened historically, where you've gotten developers and people from sort of the real-time communications background coming together as much. So it's interesting.
Excellent, John. Thanks for being with us this week. Thanks for joining me this morning.